Ironically, in a video where I talk about being attractive, I am sweating profusely, which is not attractive. I actually have no idea why I am sweating, so, hey everyone, welcome to another one of my videos where I talk. My name is Jasmine Kylene. If you don't know me, I'm a conscious media journalist and a spiritual counselor and overall student of the universe, girl having a good time. You know what the deal is. Thank you for joining me, or thank you for coming back today. I was wondering what I was gonna do a video on next, and in spirit of the fact that I don't know when you're watching this, but if you're watching this when I just uploaded it, it is the day after Valentine's Day, and I didn't want to do another video about like attracting a relationship or enjoying being single, but rather just a video on how to be more attractive, which is clickbaity in a sense where, oh my god, can you see the sweat on my body? Oh my god, why is it so hot? Is clickbaity in a sense where if you think of attractiveness as like your physical appearance, but when I say attractive, especially in a spiritual sense, I mean just magnetic to the things that you desire. Everything on this planet, everything in this universe, everything in this physical experience, whether we see it or not, or realize it or not, is an energetic exchange, and everything is defined by frequency. So if you embody a frequency that is attractive, you're gonna be able to be a magnet to all the things that you desire, including a relationship, including physical attention, including all of that. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about how energetically, spiritually, and in that realm of sphere, you can embody a more attractive appearance. And this of course does not mean, you know, wear more makeup or, you know, do the things that make you more conventionally attractive, because truthfully I am not wearing makeup right now. I'm not doing anything that is particularly out of like the norm for me, and I know that I'm still giving off something that people would read as attractive, because there's sort of like an inner thing that you need to find in order for that to be mirrored externally. So I'm gonna bounce around between like really practical things and then really like emotional and, you know, all of that. But I think the very first thing that I want to say is to change your inner dialogue. It's very important that the way you're speaking to you mirrors the way in which you wish the universe to speak to you, right? So if you're giving it all you got, if you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you are mean to yourself, or you're berating yourself, or you know, just not being kind to yourself, not being supportive of what you see reflected back, that in itself is already going to set the tone for the way that the universe is going to respond to you. So really work on being intentional with the way that you speak to yourself. And this obviously isn't something that happens overnight, especially if you have a history of being unkind to yourself. So what I would say is to start off with affirmations. I love myself, I am worthy, I am the best possible version of myself, I am a magnet to all that I desire, I emit and attract love, I am in alignment with the best possible version of myself, I vibrate high daily. All of those things can really start to embed themselves in your subconscious if you repeat them in a manner in which, you know, even if you don't believe in them immediately, the more that you repeat it, it can become truth, right? We choose our reality, we choose our truth. So if you catch yourself being mean to yourself, if you catch yourself saying, you know, I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't do that, or I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or whatever the case may be, it is okay, especially in the beginning, if you catch yourself saying those things, but it's correcting it immediately, right? Meeting that same negative energy that you just emitted to yourself and canceling out with a positive affirmation. So if you catch yourself being mean to yourself, immediately forgive yourself and replace it with a compliment, right? So just start to already shift the way that you speak to yourself, because that is going to shift the way that the world speaks to you. If you're not gonna allow yourself to be called by your own self anything less than amazing and perfect and supportive, then you're not gonna allow for that to be accepted from any sort of external source. Secondly is breath work. So oftentimes we think that we're in a space where we are there's a lot of noise today. The second thing I want to talk about is breath work, right? So oftentimes we can find ourselves in a space where we think, okay, you know, I love myself, I'm doing all of this stuff, and I'm still not inviting in the energy, inviting in the relationships, the people, the opportunities that I want to attract. And sometimes that's because we're holding on to energy that is stagnant, that we don't even realize we haven't breathed through yet. So implementing a regular breath work into your routine is going to be a beautiful way to not only keep that energy moving through you, out of you, processing a lot. But it raises your vibration immediately, so it can magnetize the things that you desire to find you times a trillion, because you are much easier to find in a magnetic field frequency wise. But also, breathwork is like the #1 way to just make your skin glow. Like any kundalini work, which is very much rooted in breathwork, is going to like sort of ignite a light within you that you don't even realize you are emitting until people start to say, oh, you're glowing, and you know, sort of complimenting you in a way that you weren't exactly getting complimented before. I promise this happens every single time that I am in like a really deep breathwork routine. I will start to get compliments on my glow, and I'm like, thanks, it's the breath. So whether you want to do breath work once a week or twice or even once a month, you know, however feels right to you, just knowing that working with your breath is a really powerful tool to move energy through you, raise your vibration. It's a beautiful act of self-love, and it is going to magnetize people to you, and they're going to see your light, they're going to see your glow way easier than they would have otherwise. And since breath work has a lot to do with ridding, in that same vein, I do want to say getting rid of any people and any habits that do not support your most confident self. So if you are doing your best to be intentional with the way that you talk to yourself, you really want to make sure that anybody externally, and that includes family, honestly, if they're talking down on you or not being supportive, that is something that needs to go. And a lot of people can excuse that as like, oh, it's tough love. And if you've done all this work at no longer being self-deprecating, you really want to make sure that you are being intentional with the people around you. And there's a huge difference between someone holding you accountable and someone just straight up speaking down and poorly about you, on top of you, behind your back, in front of your face. Just making sure that you are ridding yourself of anybody that is pulling you down, anyone that is anchoring you down in lower vibrational fields and is not constantly affirming your power, your magic, your beauty, and your light. And also any habits. I think we all, once you get to a space when you recognize what you look and what you feel like when you're at your most confident, and thus when you're at your most attractive, it's quite easy to recognize any habits or any cycles or any ways of being that don't support that. So if you recognize that, like, okay, consuming too much social media or too much reality television or eating lower vibrational foods, eating really heavy foods, or maybe not even just eating heavier foods, but emotional eating, right? Turning to them when you are wanting to avoid any certain emotions or process anything. Even, you know, drinking or smoking, if that doesn't make you feel like, oh, I am at my most aligned, I am at my most beautiful, I'm at my most self-encompassed, then just be honest with yourself and rid it or regulate it, right? There's nothing wrong with drinking wine, and there's nothing wrong with eating cake and pizza, as long as your relationship with it is healthy and it is consumed in a way that doesn't take away from your own power, your own magic, and your own divinity. The next one that I think is honestly the most important is to date yourself, especially if you want to reach a space of attractiveness because you want to manifest a relationship. It's really important to start dating yourself, right? And this goes in alignment with becoming what you desire, right? So if there's a certain partner or a certain lifestyle or a certain job or whatever it is that you really want, let's stick with the relationship example. You want a relationship that is peaceful and loving and supportive and adventurous and all of those things. Making sure that you choose to embody and become that, so that way that thing can find you and mirror you quite easily. So like I said, everything is an energy exchange, and you want to make sure that you are mirroring what it is that you're calling in. So if you are very insecure, if you're very self-deprecating, if you're not in a space where you think energetically you match what it is that you desire, what you desire is not going to find you. So it's really important to embody it, encompass it, and become it. So, you know, if you're looking for something that is really loving and rooted in peace, making sure that you are already emitting and exuding that within yourself, working on your self-love, giving yourself joy, and what I was just talking about, dating yourself. So making sure that you're buying yourself flowers and making sure that you are taking yourself out and not waiting for a desired thing to happen in order to start doing certain things. Just doing them already and already living in the reality in which you are attracting and encompassing the thing that you are calling in. This is something that I talk about a lot whenever I do my like divine feminine goddess activation workshops, but honoring your body as a sacred temple is really important if you want others to do the same. If you want others to see you as attractive, you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And that doesn't mean to wear makeup or to straighten your hair, to do anything that is outside of your own personal norm, but it means that showing up in any given space knowing that you are embodying the best and most confident version of yourself. So if that looks like wearing, you know, this like polo and no makeup, and maybe your hair is like combed, or you have on like some high vibe jewelry, that is cool. Whatever it looks like for you, if it's a bun and sweatpants, just making sure that whatever place and space that you show up as, you are centered and anchored in knowing that you are presenting your most beautiful version of you, whatever that looks like, and knowing that other people are going to read that. You know, when people walk into a room and command attention or repel attention, it has nothing to do with what they have on. It has to do with how they're wearing it and how they're thinking about themselves with it on. You know when somebody is activated, you know when someone is attractive, because it's the way that they feel and whatever they choose to present themselves in. So by throwing this on and thinking I'm the shit and I look really good in this, everyone else is going to mirror that same energy. Everyone is going to read that quite easily, and I'm going to be a magnet to them. So honor your body as sacred. You know, put on those lotions that make you feel good. Make sure that you smell the way that you want to smell. Decorate yourself as much or as little as you desire. Just making sure that you are seeing yourself as a temple, seeing yourself as sacred inwardly and outwardly, and presenting yourself as if you were that sacred temple, and people will respond quite easily to it. And lastly, see yourself as the main character. I think that if we sometimes, and I've fallen victim to this a lot, I can see others that have like my desired reality or desired thing in my reality as superior. Like, oh, okay, well, of course that happened to them because they are there, and it's like, once I start to subscribe to that dialogue that like I am below them, the universe will respond that way, and people will kind of start to look down on me and not be as attracted to me, as opposed to those moments in which I encompass knowing that everyone is my equal and that I am the main character of my own movie, of my own film. Everything just kind of falls into line with that narrative. So making sure that you think of yourself as the main character. You know that TikTok that's like, you have to start believing that you have to start romanticizing your life. Like, that shit is corny, but also mad true. Period. So see yourself as the main character, see yourself as deserving of everything that your peers are getting, knowing that your divine timing is working out perfectly in alignment for you. And within that vein, you know, do what makes you confident, do what you think your story deserves, right? So if there's a job or a hobby or a way of life or a place that you want to live that you think is in alignment with like the best possible version of you, then just do it and figure it out. Figure out how you can make it work and make it work. Really make sure that, you know, your life story is not, you know, a drama or a tragedy, honey. Make it a comedy. Make it a rom-com. Make it a coming-of-age film, darling. A dramedy if you want it, if you want a little spice. But, like, do what you have to do. Just see yourself as the main character. And also, on that note, really harnessing your own power. Envision how you want things to play out, and 9 times out of 10, reality will match that. So those times that we kind of already subconsciously, like, rehearse conversations in our heads or see the way that we want other people to receive us, really working on keeping that up in a way that is supportive of the reality that you desire is going to be a beautiful way to actually have that desire be the outcome. So see people compliment you, see people be supportive of you, see people respond to your work and to your art and to your creation in a positive way. Just see it already play out in your mind's eye, rehearse how you're gonna feel, and everything will mirror that. And just above all else, you know, it always goes back to the same thing, but once you love yourself, it's quite easy for everyone to love you. So really harnessing and getting clear on like what your magic looks like, what it feels like, how you'll wear it and present it into the world will respond accordingly. So that was like the best realization that I ever had, because I thought that I had to like start dressing a certain way and that I had to start like wearing makeup all the time in order to embody this like attractive version of myself that everyone would be obsessed with. But then I was like, oh my god, no. It makes much more sense to honor and embody and encompass your most authentic version, and people will respond much more easy, especially because if you're trying to be something, there's like a fakeness about that people are going to smell on you, and it's going to have like an adverse reaction. So just making sure that you're embodying your most authentic self, walking around knowing that you are the shit and expecting people to agree, and they will. So yeah, that is kind of what I thought made the most sense in terms of like becoming your most attractive. And I also want to say that like there's all these manifestation techniques for like how to change your appearance, but truthfully, if in your mind's eye you already are the most beautiful version of yourself, that is going to shift. Like on a physical level, that is fully gonna shift, I promise you. whatever insecurity that you have, if you start just embracing it and working it and even accentuating it and really seeing it in your mind's eye as something that is beautiful and part of your superpower, it's going to shift in your favor, I promise you. So yeah, good luck. I hope that we all walk around on this earth being the best possible versions of ourselves and seeing our light and seeing our own divinity. And yeah, like for example, I got my hair cut last time. If you watched my last video, you know that like I did not want my hair to be this short. It was much longer, and it's short, and I was really upset about it because my hair was so much of like what I thought made me beautiful. And then instead of continuing to like be suicidal about it, I was like, I've decided that I love this haircut and that I'm gonna look good in it, and I'm constantly getting complimented on it. So I say that to say that you are beautiful, you are the shit, you are, oh my god, you are unlike any other being on this planet, and that's what makes you so special. And I hope that you start walking around knowing that and emitting it, and everyone else will respond accordingly. I promise. The world is yours. You are the main character. Go off, queen. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. Feel free to like and subscribe if you did. You can also visit lalilaluna.tv or my Instagram for more conscious content. And otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye!